Hi there, as a part of AgilePoint's version 10 release, we're happy to announce support for global JavaScript. Now, as you might already be aware, this is going to build upon existing capabilities for form level or application level JavaScript, and with the advent of this feature, ensures that JavaScript snippets and functions are now globally reusable across a number of AgilePoint applications. To access this feature, let's move into Manage. Under App Builder, we have eForm Settings. And as you're seeing here, a new tile for global JavaScript. Now across the top, I can add a new file from scratch or import an existing file, say from another application. But if I add one from scratch, you're seeing here by providing a display name, an internal name is automatically generated, and a description can optionally be provided. So as you're seeing here, I can now add my various JavaScript functions, but across the top, when I make a change, I can always click Save, import existing JavaScript or export this file, delete it, and see everywhere these functions or snippets are used in various applications. Now in my case, this particular file isn't used anywhere, so as a result, this is blank. Now there are two JavaScript functions that I'd like to use as a part of my sample application today. The first of which is going to be a JavaScript function that is called based on form load, where we're going to grab the logged in user and populate their full name, as you're seeing here. The second file that we'll use is going to grab tax details from various vendors as a part of my application. So you're seeing here all of the vendors and their respective tax rates, as well as details of a calculation that you'll see leveraged as a part of our form. So we'll come back to that in just a moment, but let's move into our sample application. And first, we need to enable global JavaScript. So in the ribbon, under Settings, under Advanced, you're going to see a checkbox for Apply Global JavaScript. So now that I've turned this on, there are those two files that I'd like to enable. Form calculations and grabbing the full name of the logged in user. Now using global JavaScript is going to work the exact same way as form or shared JavaScript. So as an example, if I move into my text field for requester name, under Advanced, you're seeing here various JavaScript events. So upon selecting the event, we're going to see the corresponding JavaScript functions that can be selected. So we'll leave field change selected. And in scrolling through this, we're going to see the source of these various functions. So as an example, function number 1 is coming from form level JavaScript. Getting a field value is coming from shared JavaScript. And the tax calculation, again, coming from the global JavaScript. So all of the sources for the various functions given a specific JavaScript event. Okay, so as we discussed, our first JavaScript function is going to trigger based on form load and is going to populate the requester's full name. So going back into one of my JavaScript functions, you're seeing here, we're going to grab the logged in user when the form loads and populate their full name. Okay, so moving over to the second tab here, our second JavaScript function is going to trigger when a vendor is selected. What this will do here is populate the details of their tax rate. And the second portion of this function is going to perform a number of calculations. Based on the selected item and quantity, will give us a subtotal multiplied by the tax rate, which arrives at our grand total. So taking a look at this, you're seeing here, this JavaScript maintains the tax rate for various vendors, as well as the details of the calculation. So here we have our auto lookup. This is going to trigger when the vendor is selected. So as you're seeing here, when the vendor changes, we'll call the function setTax based on the vendor. Okay, so let's bring this up in preview. So as you're seeing here, as the form loads, it grabbed my full name. So let me just quickly fill out this form. Moving into the vendor, we're first going to select XYZ Corp. And as you're seeing here, a tax rate of 18%. Whereas moving into Alpha Systems, we're going to see the tax rate change to 12%. All right, now finally, the calculation portion. Go ahead and select a laptop, quantity of 2, which gives me a subtotal, multiplied by the effective tax rate gives me a grand total. Okay, so with that, that's going to conclude the content for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this gives you a better understanding of how to, one, enable global JavaScript, and then turn it on an application by application basis. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you soon.